Hey, what's up? What's going on out there? I'm going to check out this video with Kamala Harris. She's on the All the Smoke podcast with some former NBA players, and she's going to be talking about why uh, people are questioning her race. And side note, she probably thought that they were going to be chiefing on the show or something. That's probably another reason she went to the show. But I'm going to check out the video and see what they're talking about.
Italian mom, black dad, and was always very proud of my heritage until an incident I had in high school when I was 17, protecting my little sister. Someone called her some names. I did what the big brother did. I ended up getting in trouble, and the KKK came and vandalized, nearly burned down my high school. And I knew at that point, although I was very proud to be Italian and black, that the world looked at me as a black man.
Yeah, I remember seeing his story on, I think it was ESPN 360 or something like that. I mean, he's overcome a lot, racism, his dad was in the streets, things like that. So he went through a lot to accomplish what he did. Getting to the NBA was a great ordeal. He does some stuff I don't agree with. Like I saw a video with him like spitting on somebody, just doing wild stuff like that. But I'm gonna get back to the video and see what Kamala says.
You've always been secure in your identity, who you are, but what do you feel or what do you think when you hear people kind of questioning just the fabric of who you are?
Well, one, I don't listen to it.
Okay.
She doesn't listen to it because it's probably the truth.
I'm really clear about who I am, and if anybody else is not, they need to go through their
That's
own
their
level of
issues.
therapy. That's not my
That's
issue.
their issues, right?
My mother was very clear. She was raising two black girls to be two proud black women. And that was never.
That's kind of a loaded answer. And I say loaded because she uses the word black. Now, you can be black and be East Indian, but East Indians don't go by the words black. They go by ethnic groups who they belong to, like Dravidians, for example, are extremely dark, and that's the ethnic group they identify with. If they came to America, they would be considered black, or if they were in the Caribbean, so on and so forth. But they identify with a certain ethnic group. The problem with, so-called black people over here in the islands, South America, North America, they get put in a box where they have to identify with as black, and they don't have that certain ethnic group that that they're familiar with. Like for example, her father is Jamaican. If I tell somebody, I'll just use the U.S. for example. If I tell somebody, hey, in the U.S., if somebody's Jamaican, they're automatically going to assume that person is black, because Jamaica is a majority so-called black country, but it's Chinese, Jamaican, and so-called white people there. So I say that to say this: her father could come from an Indian Jamaican, and I believe he had some white ancestry as well.
It was never a question. It's funny because over the years, journalists, some, not most, will want to talk about it. And I say, okay, if you want to have this conversation, I'm prepared to have it, but sit down and get comfortable for a few hours.
I don't think they're going to want to sit down through that conversation because it's going to be like talking to that Barbie doll when you pull the string and it just repeats the same 5 or 4 phrases. They'll be better off having a sleeping bag, honestly.
If you want to start talking about race in America, you want to talk about the 1/8 rule?
A drop.
Right. You want to talk about what it means in terms of who you are perceived to be and the impact that can have on the rest of your life, regardless of who you actually are in terms of your God-given capacity and the rights that you have and should have. So, I don't mess with that. I think that's other people trying to figure some stuff out that they
got some issues.
They got to deal with.
I'm gonna go back to what she said about the 1/8 rule. That's kind of a loaded comment again because she could have 1/8 so-called black Jamaican ancestry in her. That's probably about all that ancestry she has. But over the this time where people have been questioning her race, I saw some earlier interviews where she said, I'm a Indian woman, repeatedly. So I don't know where this confusion is coming from. Just because somebody looks like has a brown shade and they went to a HBCU doesn't classify them as a so-called American black person. And again, I go back to ethnic groups. Now here in America, like, and I'm going to say this for so-called black people in America, we have no ethnic group that we can lean on or side with. We get called black. If you went to like uh, a black person on the street and then you ask them what does it mean to be black, they wouldn't have an answer for you. Now I'm going to say this though too. The good men and good women are going to know what I'm talking about when I say we have a group or we have a nationality we belong to. And I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, the good men and good women who can decipher and see through what I'm saying will know what I'm talking about. But that's my 1-2 on it. Leave your commentary. Let me know what you think.